Hi guys, welcome back to the cave. It's been a while since I did a video. I have been doing quite a lot of lives on a Wednesday night at 8 o'clock and I'm still going to carry on doing them. I put a photo up, I think it was last week, with the crackle glaze effect on a bowl, and I've had a couple of people want to know how I did it, so that's what we're going to be doing. In this video I've got a piece of Sycamore mounted on the lathe at the moment. It's about 2 inches deep by about 13.5 in diameter, so I'm going to be using that. I'll probably do a bit of texturing on there, but I'll be doing the crackle glaze effect on the rim of the bowl as well. So I'll just alter the camera angle and then we'll get some turning done. Right, so here we are. There's the blank on the lathe. I've got it turning at around about, well, just over 650 there. I'm using my usual Sorby 3/8 bowl gouge. I'm just going to get the edge rounded off. That's the edge rounded off, and I'll come and get the bottom straightened off now. Just alter the tool rest. Right, I'm just going to establish where the foot of the bowl is going to go. And I've just got a wee bit more to get cleaned off there. So the base is going to be, that's around about 5.5 inches for the base. I'll just get marked up for the mortise. and just use a smaller bowl gouge just to finish it off. And then my shaped scraper just to put the dovetail in. Now we'll get the shape in the outside of the bowl. Right, so that's the outside of the bowl shaped. So now I'll just get it sanded. I'm not going to leave the video on while I'm doing the sanding process, so we'll come back once the sanding's done. Right, so that's been sanded now to 240, and I thought we'll do a bit of decoration on here. So I'm going to put a couple of bits of texture in, and I'll just mark out where they're going to go. I'm just going to use my Robert Sorby texturing tool just to put some texture in. So I'm going to be running this at around about 500. I've got the cutter on centre height, and I'm going to change the angle on this as I go, see what sort of effect I get. You probably can't see that very well on camera, but I'll show the bottom of the bowl on photographs when I put them up on social media. Just move that back a bit. There we are, some nice texture effects on there. So what I'll do now, I'll just get on and well, I'll just run some 400 grit abrasive over that just to take off any furry bits. And then I'll stick on some Yorkshire Grit. You keep on rubbing the Yorkshire Grit in using clean bits of kitchen roll or whatever it is you use, basically until it comes away clean. Now I'm going to use some microcrystaline wax as the finish. just going to use a brush, a fairly stiff brush, just to get any excess out of the texturing. There we are, that's the bottom done. Just take that out of the chuck. And see if I can, there you go, you should be able to see the texture there. Flip it round. And get the top done. Now all I'm going to do with the top initially is just basically turn it flat. Now I might have to take a bit off here. There's been, well, not an inclusion, an exclusion if you like, just here. So I'm going to have to take that back a fair bit so I can get to the round. Turn to just about 700 there. And that's it. We'll just get this straightened off now. I'm just going to get this sanded again, so we'll come back after the sanding is finished. Right then, it's been sanded down to 400. It's had one coat of acrylic sanding sealer on, and I've knocked back that with one of the pads, the orange one, which is about 1200 grit. So that's been knocked back. Putting the sanding sealer on just gives a base for the paint to go on. Now, as a base coat, the first one I'm going to use is Sonja's matte flow acrylic, and this one is rose gold. And basically I'm just going to put a layer of paint over here. making sure I get a fairly good covering. I'm not overly concerned about the outer edge, and I'm not concerned much about the middle either, because I'm going to be taking a bit off the outer edge when I put it back on the lathe and do some texturing on there. And I'll probably be doing, well, I'll be taking the centre out as the bowl part anyway. I'm not overly concerned about any paintbrush lines. Once this is properly dry, I can actually go back over this with around about 600 grit abrasive paper just to flatten it off a bit. I want a fairly thick layer on here, just to make sure the crackle works properly. This is basically a 4-stage process. You put your base paint on first, then you put on a layer of, I think it's called Decor Crackle. You've got to dry in between each process, which is why it takes a bit of time to get done. So you put on the Decor one, you let that dry. That can be sanded back again to about 600 just to flatten it off a bit. Then you put on your second coat, or your top coat, and the top coat I'm going to be using is silver. And then once that's dry, the final coat that goes on is the Crackle glaze. Now the thing you can't do is use a hot air gun to dry the paints. They've got to dry naturally. If you use a hot air gun, it'll cure the paint, and by doing that, the Crackle glaze won't work. So that's the base coat on. I'm going to let that dry, then we'll come back and we'll put on the see if I can find it. We'll put on the Decor Crackle. That'll go on top of the base coat. Then the silver will go on top of the Decor Crackle. Then finally the Crackle medium will go on last. And as the Crackle medium dries, it basically cracks the top coat, so you will get parts of the base coat coming through. So it'll have a silver top that's all crackled, showing the base coat underneath. So I'm going to switch off for now. I'll let this paint dry, and then we'll come back and put the Decor on. Alright then guys, so base coat is now dry, or dry to the touch. So I'm going to put the Decor Crackle on there now. And you just put this on in a crisscross sort of motion. Just like that. And when you put this on, try not to, just like I did there, try not to go over bits that you've already done, because it can actually start lifting the paint. So we're going to let that dry now, and then we'll come back and put the top coat on, which is going to be silver. Alright then guys, so that's the top coat dry now. So now I'm going to do the Crackle glaze. I'm going to stick some in a wee pot. And again we'll put this on in just sort of a crisscross motion. And then once this is done, I'll probably leave this overnight to dry fully. And then I can get it back on the lathe in the morning. And you definitely don't want to, with this one, definitely don't go back over bits that you've already done, because it will actually lift the paint if you start going back over it. Just pour that excess back into the tub. Right, so that's that part done. And when we come back tomorrow, what you should actually see, before I put it back on the lathe, you should be able to see all of the silver paint is basically cracked, and you'll be able to see the pink paint, sorry, the gold, or the, what colour was it? The rose gold coming through underneath. So we'll come back to that in the morning. Right then guys, I'm back again. So all the Crackle glaze is dried. I'm not that happy with how the Crackle's gone. I think I've put the paints on the wrong way around. I think I should have put the silver on as the base and then done the rose gold as the top coat. Something to learn for next time. Anyway, so what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to give this a quick sand with 600, and then we'll get on to do the finishing on it. Just go over that one more time. That's it. It looks a bit streaky and stuff at the moment, but once I get a proper finish on there, it will look fine. So I'm going to take a bit out of the edge here and put some texture in there. I'm going to take a bit out of here and put some texture in there and form the bowl area. Now cutting towards the inside like I was there, it can start lifting a bit of the paint. So what I then do is get my small bowl gouge, which is swept back, and I'm just going to go and cut straight in just there. And then that gives that a nice clean cut. I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side. And then I'll just get the bowl part finished. Still got a fair bit of meat there, so I'll just take a bit more out. There we go. Right, I'm going to get this sanded now. I'll be hand sanding these areas. I'll be using the drill on this area. So we'll come back once I've got it sanded. Right, so that's been sanded to 240 now. So I'm just going to put some more texture in here on the edge and just before the bowl part. bit more on there. Yep. Let's quickly give that a bit of a clean up. Get some sanding sealer on. I'm just going to knock that back again with the orange Scotch-Brite pad, equivalent grit of around about 1200. I'm very gently over the paint. That's looking grand. And now I think I'll finish this off with a melamine gloss lacquer. I'm going to finish this with. Right, I'll let that dry. It'll probably have a few more coats on, but that'll do for now. Turn the speed way down. Right, that's running at around about 150. About the lowest speed I get on this range. So I'll let that run, let the lacquer dry off. It'll probably have another 5 or 6 coats of lacquer on there, but I think that'll do for showing you for the video, if you like. So what I'll do, that's basically the video finished. I will put some photographs up at the end of the video so you can see, and obviously I'll be putting photographs up on social media, the likes of Facebook and Instagram. So hope you've enjoyed the video. Please like, please share, and I'll be back in here. Well, I'll be back in here probably all day of the day, but I'll probably be seeing you again on Wednesday night on my live. So take care, folks.